be bipolar. If you can hear your hair growing, if you can get a runner's high by sitting up, if you can't look up at the full moon because you're afraid the gravitational pull will pull your face off. Bipolar is no joke, but it helps to have a sense of humor when you have mental illness. It helps you to deal with how people see you and how you feel about yourself. When I look at those movie clips, I'm thinking that sometimes people see me as scary. I've been working since I was 16, and I have heard some of my past employers make negative remarks about mental illness, saying people with mental illness are crazy people. Remarks like crazy made me feel bad about myself. I was afraid. What would people say about me if they found out I had bipolar? But I did get a job where I thought I would be safe. At a treatment center for mentally ill, chemically dependent women. I let them know that I had a mental illness. I was fired the next day. I grew up in a Minneapolis suburb. I have 2 siblings. They are both doctors. Education was a very important part in my family. I started to struggle in 1972, which my last year of high school. I was up and down, but mostly down. I couldn't get out of bed. When I was out of bed, I was skipping class and getting high on marijuana. My mother and the doctor couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I wanted to graduate from high school, but I also wanted to die. I started getting into trouble with the law, and I was sent to a juvenile group home, and I did manage to graduate. Then I took an apartment in Uptown and partied all the time, and I started college, and then I dropped out. I met a guy that I thought was my ticket to getting high for free, not knowing that I would have 2 sons with him. Throughout this relationship was abusive. I would sometimes take off for days at a time, spending all the money and writing bad checks. I ended up going to jail. I remember the judge asking me why I wrote bad checks. I said that I didn't know why. I had a psychotic breakdown in jail and was transferred to a hospital where I was given meds that made me feel drugged out. I couldn't function. I felt if this was my life, then let me die. But I knew that I couldn't die because I had 2 sons who needed their mother. When I went home from the hospital, I stopped taking the meds, and the fighting with my husband started all over again. On a cold winter day, I took all the money, my boys, and nothing else, and walked out the door. Life did get better in some ways, but I continued to be up and down. I continued to use drugs. In 1987, I went to treatment for drug addiction. I completed treatment and returned home, still not knowing that I had an untreated mental illness. I went from job to job, and I kept losing jobs. But in 2008, things were going well, at least for a time. I had a job I liked, a great apartment, and a dog named Sadie. But then I lost the job too and didn't have any money to pay rent. I ended up living in a shelter and getting put out every morning at 7 a.m. One day, someone told me about a low-income clinic. I called and they told me to come in, and that's when I was diagnosed with bipolar. I was given meds and they gave me a case manager. My case manager told me about Vail Place, but I didn't want to go because I didn't want to accept that I had a mental illness. A year later, I finally agreed to check out Vail Place. I was scared, but began to meet people that struggled with a lot of the same things I do. Then I started getting involved with Vail Place. I help out with jobs, and about once a month I cook. I found affordable housing with them, and I am working with them to find a part-time job that I want. I do have a part-time job now, but I don't like the hours. I volunteer at a local hospital, and next month I will be working with homeless. Life is good. I know that I have to treat my bipolar like I treat my asthma. Take my meds and live healthy. Because of Vail Place, I am no longer afraid anymore. Thank you.